Alright, so I talked to my therapist today about the fact that I really have to just ignore all of these videos from my family because I know they're lying. And all it's going to do is keep dragging me back and forcing me to have to prove what I know is true. And they will never admit. Even the things that y'all are saying don't make sense. Like now she's saying that my mom went into labor with me at a naval base. And people in the comments are like, well, yeah, if she was a prostitute, she would have been at a naval base. Why? Why would a heavily pregnant prostitute be at a naval base? Why is that normal? That means that Kathy drove her sister, heavily pregnant, to a naval base for prostitution purposes. Because if the reason she was at the naval base was because she was a hooker and Kathy was driving, then logic states that Kathy drove a pregnant sister to a naval base for prostitution, and then when she went into labor, instead of calling for help to have the baby safely, she put her in the back of the car and drove half an hour to another side of town. Those things don't really add up to a non-abusive life, do they? Y'all want to keep saying that my mother was not even an alcoholic. I'm lying about everything. My mother was a saint. But yet she's also dying of liver failure before she's 60. You know what the main cause of liver failure is? Alcohol. Decades and decades of alcohol. Lots of it. You can't willingly accept that the woman is dying of liver disease from being an alcoholic and then also turn around and say she was never abusive and there's no proof she could ever have been abusive. Because when you drink heavily, you don't always remember everything you do. I should know. I was a heavy alcoholic for a couple of years. And I've heard stories from people telling me things that I don't remember doing because I was blacked out drunk. Therefore, you do not get to tell me that my alcoholic mother, who was dying of liver disease because of the alcohol consumption, remembers every single thing that happened in my childhood. Because when you're an alcoholic, you have blackouts and you don't remember shit clearly. If nobody's lying, why has my mother spent decades telling me that I never even stayed with Meemaw that much? She's told people that I've lied about staying with my grandmother as much as I did. Okay, but then my family is out here saying, well, Mary was always with Meemaw. Mary was always with Meemaw. She was always with Meemaw. Well, if I was always with Meemaw, why? Maybe because my family was abusive. Jesus Christ, how many lies do they have to get caught up in before you people will start to listen? They were meth heads who weaponized feces. My family and Kathy's family are not the same family. Kathy and my mom are sisters. But Kathy was in Georgia, living her life with her army of children, ignoring the fact that my mother was being abused and was abusing alcohol and that her children were living in hell. And now she wants to deny any of it happened because it's easier for her to say it never happened than to admit that she allowed her younger sister to be abused for 30 years. It's bullshit. A loving family doesn't do that. Period. I have messages from my little sister where she talks about how her life was worse than mine. We lived in the same household, except she was there all the time. So she had it worse. Well, what did she have worse if nothing happened? Somebody explain that to me.